So I grew up kind of in a home that was one-sided when it came to faith. But when I was in kindergarten, when I was 6 years old, I watched my father get arrested right in front of me. And so that kind of shook up things in my life. I didn't really see it then because I was so young. But going back, I realized that a lot of the things that I struggled with had to do with not having a father in my life. Then through elementary school and things like that, then I always did the Bible verses, did the homework they told me to, but nothing was ever personal. I actually got baptized in 3rd grade, but that's just because my friends did. I thought growing into a relationship with Jesus would kind of come with age, not really a decision. So when I going into middle school, I was dealing with a lot of insecurities. And that led to a lot of struggles with trying to be enough for people, trying to fill that void in my life with other people, with sexual sin, with pornography. And, it was always not enough. It was always being in a constant state of stress and just tension in my life and just getting satisfaction for moments, but then that just fading away. And I was wondering why, because I grew up in the church, and this isn't how this is supposed to happen. But in 8th grade, I went to a greater winter camp. At that greater winter camp, then I experienced Jesus for the first time, and it's an experience that I can't really put into words because it was a feeling that I've never felt before. It was just an overwhelming feeling of just comfort and just knowing that Jesus is bigger than what I was going through. And so going through that experience, at that moment I knew I had to make a decision for Jesus to be in my life. So that's kind of that was the point that I laid all of my crud down at God's feet and just said, hey, you know what? If you say who you say you are, if you are who you say you are, and you say that I can come to you, then I'm going to do that. It was amazing because I started to get more involved in like the youth group and student leadership and things like that. And I'll never forget Andrew Rima. He's probably the most influential person that has been with me through my walk. I remember something he constantly told me was that it's a perspective change that Jesus does in your heart more than he does in your mind and what you see on the outside, because when God works in your heart, then that overflows and you'll start to live a life for him because of the change that happened in your heart. But I didn't really realize that then. And so these struggles kept on coming and stuff, and it just felt like I was never gonna reach that pinnacle Christian, that awesome Christian, that perfect Christian. But at summer camp 2 years ago, I didn't go in with any expectation. I was at a point that I was actually just about to give up Jesus because, yeah, everything sounded good and everything sounded great, but I still went through all the stuff that I went through before, and there was nothing different. So I was at a point that I was showing people on the outside what they wanted to see, but in my heart I was dead. I was about to give up on everything. But at that summer camp, God did some crazy things. That's when I actually figured out and I found my calling to become a youth pastor. So it was on the second night of camp that the pastor that was speaking on dreaming bigger, because God has a bigger plan for you than what you're going through right now, the struggles that you're going through. And he even said during his message that he felt like somebody in the room has been going through something that they went through before they crossed the line of faith. And that just it felt like he was talking directly to me. So that was the moment when I went and sat down with my journal and closed my eyes. God gave me a vision of me in front of thousands of people speaking the gospel, speaking that you are enough, that you are valuable to Jesus, and that he loves you more than anything that you could possibly imagine. And at that moment, it was this sensation, it was a feeling that I've never felt before. It was like, except one other time when I gave my life to Christ. And it was like, wow, this is something that I'm supposed to do. And so I wrote it down. I wrote everything down that God was showing me, and I still keep that page in my journal bookmarked because it's just something. It was a pivotal moment in my walk. But so it's been amazing to see how God has worked in my life since that time. Just continuing to grow in his word and getting to know him more and getting to know his love for me more. Because I heard something actually yesterday. It's crazy because this resonated with how my walk has worked, or like how it kind of came about so perfectly. My friend told me that once you find the source, leave the substitute. And that's totally what it was for me, is I was finding all of these substitutes for Jesus. And I just needed to realize that once I have Jesus, then I have the source of my joy and my happiness and my strength and my growth. And once I realized that, then I didn't need those other things. And once that kind of like, and that's just amazing to see now, because it's what my life's been, right? So it's like, why should I chase after these things if Jesus already conquered them in my life? If Jesus has already conquered the devil. So it's like, I wake up every day and I thank God for where I am, where I've been, and what he has for me. My name is Dereck Tonasket, and I'm part of a greater story.